At that. Oh, I almost got queasy looking at that video. New tonight, as if Metro Police didn't have enough on their plate right now. Tonight, officers are looking for those two people after they jumped off the Grand Hyatt in downtown Nashville. Fortunately, no one got hurt, but as you can imagine, it put downtown on edge once again. Fox 17 News' Rachel Teedy spoke to the woman who took that video you just saw about how this was the last thing she wanted to see, especially after the bombing last week.
It's been a crazy week, which sums up a crazy year for Nashville. And the last thing downtown resident Amanda Bagley thought she'd see was two men jumping off the roof of that hotel behind me.
Holy bargoer Amanda Bagley shot this video as two men.
Oh my God!
Climbed up on top of the railing atop the Grand Hyatt downtown.
Holy
and jumped off.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Bagley says she's been on high alert since the bombing a week ago, and this was just another thing added on top.
Last night was my first night really going out, right? It was a lot of trying to, process what I'd seen after the bomb exploded.
She took this video of the bombing aftermath that morning.
Of course, since Christmas Day, as a downtown resident, I found that I'm being hyper vigilant of kind of what's going on around me.
She's not the only one on high alert. In Lexington, bars and a hotel were evacuated after an RV was parked outside. That one turned out to belong to someone staying at the hotel and was harmless.
I just feel bad for the people that was enjoying the New Year's Eve, having a great time in the bars or whatever.
Like police responded to that incident, police responded to others here in Tennessee. Someone phoned in a bomb scare to the state capitol, and the THP found a wood box against the wall. It was found to not be an explosive device. Last week in Lebanon, sheriff deputies arrested a man after he was driving a box truck playing similar audio to the Nashville RV. Bagley wonders if this is the new normal.
It's been a really strange week, but also one of those things where is this kind of what we have to expect with kind of the times that we are going to be going through here in the future? I mean, is it going to be one thing after another?
Oh my gosh!
The Hyatt sent us a statement about the jumpers, saying they were guests of the hotel and were evicted and banned from ever staying again.
Ultimately, everyone is already on edge, and I would hate to think that these guys who jumped off the roof of the Hyatt were, wanted to continue to throw like fire to the flames of everything that we've experienced this past week. So it is bizarre.
Now, it remains to be seen who the people are who jumped off the roof. We've been checking the jail logs, but so far, nobody's been booked on any charges that might relate to that.
Well, the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine is off to a rough start in Columbia. Hundreds of seniors braved the cold temperatures hoping to get their first dose, only to be told there were none left. Fox 17 News asking local leaders there how this happened and what needs to be done to fix it in the future.
This was the line outside Columbia State Community College. Hundreds of seniors waiting for hours, some getting there as early as 5 a.m., hoping for a chance of protection from a virus that could easily kill them.
It was a line from there, further down than that, on the other side of the building. And they were like four this way deep in line.
Ruth and Al Curry had to leave and come back. Standing that long is hard for anyone, but for someone over 75, it can be near impossible, dangerous even.
I would have stayed, except I'm a diabetic and I hadn't eaten, so I didn't want to lay in the street and have somebody take me somewhere, so I went home and ate.
Ronald McFall brought his mom Lillian and needed to do the same thing.
She can't stand that long, so I wouldn't got a wheelchair.
To add insult to injury, many of these seniors went through all that trouble for nothing.
We said if we could remain in the line if we wanted to, but he just wanted to let us know that it may not be vaccine available when we get up to the door.
Yes, many made it to the front of the line only to find out the vaccine supply had ran out after just 2 hours. Columbia Mayor Chaz Mulder says we need a better system.
To see some of these people who are there to sacrifice for others to get the vaccine, they were done a true disservice today to not have the kind of really plan in place that you would expect for something of this magnitude.
Mulder says there needs to be a uniform system statewide for administering the vaccine, blaming the Department of Health for lack of communication and lack of leadership with organizing the rollout.
This morning I was having phone calls from people that lived in Columbia but wanted to know if they could go to a different county because they heard a different county was doing drive-through vaccines, whereas in Columbia we were having to get out of our cars to go get them. And so really it's it's unfortunate that we don't have a uniform system in place. We are one state. Let's have one coordinated response.
Now, there were set to be more vaccinations this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but the mayor says there's been no update from the state on whether those vaccines will actually be available by Monday. That blast damaging more than 40 businesses and displacing hundreds of people from their homes. Now, bombing victims starting to get their first looks at the damage and the long road ahead of them to either rebuild or move out of downtown Music City. Fox 17 News' Kathleen Surrey live downtown with the very latest. Hi, Kathleen.
Good evening, Nikki. Well, time is moving very slowly for the business owners and homeowners displaced by the Christmas Day bombing, even though Metro Police are letting them pass these barricades down 2nd Avenue to kind of assess their properties and pick up anything that's left. Some are still left with more questions than answers because some of those buildings just aren't safe enough to go inside yet.
This is what used to be Pete Gibson's business, Pride and Glory Tattoo, right across the street from where a bomb inside an RV exploded on Christmas morning.
It's heartbreaking. It's I'm just numb, just dull.
Gibson's tattoo shop is one of more than 45 businesses damaged, and he's one of the 1,200 employees impacted. And even though authorities have been letting business and homeowners into the blast zone to collect their belongings, they say Gibson's building isn't safe enough to go inside yet.
The minutes feel like hours. It's just you just want to get in there so bad, or you just want to be able to recover anything, because there was so much memorable stuff in there, paintings, gifts that were given through artists around the world.
According to the latest update from Metro Codes, there are addresses at 7 buildings that have been deemed unsafe for use or occupancy, and no entry is allowed.
Right now it's just a standstill.
And even though he knows it's going to be a long road to recovery for this stretch of downtown,
we're a tight-knit community down there. We all love each other. It's our little neighborhood. It's our heart and our soul, and we're gonna represent that saying, Nashville strong, to the fullest, and we're gonna get through this.
And no matter what happens to his destroyed building, Gibson vows that one day there will be another Pride and Glory tattoo shop in downtown Nashville.
Gibson says he is hopeful that they'll let him into his previous business sometime next week.
Police confirming this week they were warned 1 year ago that Anthony Warner was making a bomb at his house in Antioch. And the late sharing of that information has some concern. As Fox 17 News' Harriet Wallace reports tonight, they're demanding answers.
One of the people behind that criticism is Councilman Bob Mendez, who's floating the idea of an independent investigation into what happened down here on 2nd Avenue on Christmas Day and the year before, sharing that idea in a letter posted on Twitter. And that's not sitting well with the Fraternal Order of Police.
Place yourself in their shoes. Police racing against the clock, evacuating people while a loud warning of a bomb blares across 2nd Avenue.
As long as they don't go to the 2nd Avenue side, should be okay.
Evacuations happening just in the nick of time. Officers performing a heroic task.
You guys okay?
No, my guys.
Where's your car?
That some say could have been avoided.
They had a credible tip from an individual who knew Warner well.
Former federal prosecutor Alex Little raising concerns with how Metro Police initially handled the warning last year from accused bomber Anthony Warner's girlfriend about him making a bomb. Police initially told reporters after the bombing Warner is not on their radar, only to come back 5 days later and say he actually is. A serious problem for Melissa Cherry, a member of the Community Oversight Now Coalition.
Well, having trust in the institution that is tasked with keeping you safe is of utmost importance. It's the only important thing, actually.
Chief John Drake said an internal investigation is underway, but Councilman Bob Mendez suggesting an independent body conduct its own investigation, saying there are concerns with trust and transparency. The FOP, though, pushing back Friday, calling his allegations, quote, wild and baseless. Cherry says perhaps it's time the Community Oversight Board step in.
They have every ability to look at the policies that should have been followed, whether or not they were, and whether or not they need to be changed moving forward.
Now, at this time, the Metro Council nor the Community Oversight Board have had a discussion about conducting an independent investigation. And of course, we'll just monitor this, see how everything goes. If that does happen, we will certainly let you know.